and certainly not with the more problematic aspects of the story. Then where should we start our story? We could start with the Hasmoneans, who were the first to discover the advantages of this isolated cliff in the heart of the desert. Or we could start at the end, with the dramatic project of the Masada excavations, with Igal Yadin, the head of the excavation team, who would stand on the mountain and read Josephus Flavius' description of the account, and everyone around him could actually hear the echoes of the fighting. Or we could start the quest with King Herod. Herod, who ruled under the auspices of the Romans, built himself a magnificent fortress here on the mountain, which was to be a sanctuary in troubled times. And believe me, he really had troubles. Herod, like any other king, built his palaces to the highest standards of his day. One of them is this Western palace. Herod's architect was probably a short guy. Here he built himself a bathhouse, and he would put his lamp here and enter his bath. What can I tell you? This king loved the good life. Until now, we spoke about Herod. It wasn't the splendor of Herod's style that made Masada what it is today. The year is 66 AD. The Jews rebel against the Roman Empire. 4 years later, the temple is destroyed. Jerusalem falls. Everywhere else, the rebels were suppressed. Masada is the last stronghold where there are still Jewish rebels. And believe me, they didn't need Herod's palaces. The rooms in the wall were divided and used as living quarters. They lived from food in the storerooms, and they drank water from the cisterns, kindly left behind by Herod long ago.
Right from the beginning of the excavations, signs of the rebels were found elsewhere, in the palaces, in the ritual baths, and in particular in the wall. The deepest experience I went through in Masada was when they found in this particular room the first piece of scroll. To see Hebrew letters coming out of the ground, the same letters which are used until today. Later, more fragments of scrolls were found. One I found with my own hands, but the first experience is unforgettable.
Throughout the revolt, groups of refugees sought asylum on the mountain. About 1,000 rebels gathered in this fortress in the heart of the wilderness. In 73 AD, the Romans' 10th Legion arrived with thousands of armed soldiers who deployed themselves around the mountain. An enormous war machine. And the movies do it best, after the Romans, of course. The Romans built an attack ramp. The besieged rebels rolled stones down it. The Romans lift a tower to the top of the ramp, equipped with a battering ram to smash the wall. The besieged erect a wood and earthen wall to sustain the blows of the battering ram. The Romans burn it, but the wind almost burns their own tower. Then the wind veering as if by divine providence to the south, blowing with full force in the opposite direction, flung flames against the wall, which now was all ablaze. And in the evening, when the wall was burnt and breached, the Roman army returned to its camps, assured that the whole affair would be over by morning. But Eleazar had ideas of his own. This is it, the last night. My friends, we've reached the climax of the drama. However, unlike the movie, here apparently the events actually took place. And here at Masada, men with families were forced to decide slavery or death. Eleazar had no doubts, but he had yet to convince his comrades in arms. Ladies and gentlemen, the speech of Eleazar. Oh, my loyal followers, the time has now come that obliges us to make that resolution true in practice. Let our wives die before they are abused, and our children before they have tasted of slavery, and preserve ourselves in freedom as an excellent funeral monument for us, as we have preferred death before slavery. And if I must point to one find, it would be these ostraka, these potsherds. These may be the lots that I'm holding now, potsherds on which the rebels wrote their names. 10 men who were chosen were the only ones who remained. Their equipment had already burned, and each of them had already killed his wife and children. Then they drew the lots. Who would kill the 9th man and fall on his own sword? And in the morning the Romans arrived, and besides 2 women and a few children, everyone was dead. years later, the first explorers came and rediscovered the mountain. Then the members of the youth movements, seeking a symbol of Jewish heroism, discovered Masada and adopted the mountain. After them came the hikers and the tourists. Masada had become a focus of pilgrimage. Professor Netzer, what do you really think about the act of courage that ended in suicide?
Maybe it's the utmost courage to prefer death to a life of slavery.
So it's death or freedom?
Yes, death as a free man or slavery in the hands of the Romans. Which choice would you make?
No matter what, Masada has become a symbol of staunch resistance against a fierce enemy. And if it is a symbol, then perhaps this might be some kind of victory. Ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to climb the mountain.
现在我们坐空中缆车上马萨达国家公园。
Welcome to Masada National Park.
这是死海。See people climb up this mountain. Takes a long time.
It must do.
It's very hard. We have already arrived at the top. 我们已经到了山顶。
Please be careful of the automatic doors. We hope you enjoy your visit.
现在马萨达国家公园到了，我们要走出这个开布卡。现在我们站在马萨达国家公园，我们现在看看他们的水，因为罗马帝国统治时期最需要的就是水，没有水是不能生存的。他们需要洗澡，他们需要吃喝，这些都需要水。看看他们的水从哪里来。 他们修建了万里长城，没有万里有千里。罗马人非常爱清洁，当他们统治这地方的时候，虽然是在高山上，死海这儿它算高山，因为它高于死海平面880多米，所以它还算高山。但是实际上，死海本身就低于海平面，所以它这个地方实际上只在海平面上面34米。 即使是这样，罗马人也一定要引水上山，想尽办法修地下水道，修建浴池。这里是他们的公众浴室。他们的桑拿浴，最后水到哪儿去了呢？ 罗马人应该是世界上最爱清洁的民族，走到哪儿都不忘洗澡。在这山顶上，他们洗桑拿。 这底下是通热器的，就坐在上面把自己蒸热了，火烧得旺旺的，然后蒸出了一身汗，就到那边去洗。萨德对于以色列人来说是一个非常重要的一个象征，因为他们曾在1600年前试图在这里独立建国，所以以色列人把这个地方作为他们独立建国的一种象征。到1948年5月14号，以色列最终建国了。这边是犹太人的 synagogue， 这边是拜占庭的教堂。现在我们的 cable car 从山顶向山下，山顶和山下一共有890米，但是实际上山顶和海拔面只有34米，所以山顶只是海拔34米。
Are you going there?